Greetings from Southern California. This is Frank with Franken Fruits. Today we have a project. It's the first days of fall in Southern California, and it is time to prune my avocado trees. So the task is not to do a producing prune inside the tree, it's more removing the top of the tree. I like to grow my trees compact and wide spreading canopies. I have no use for a very tall tree where I cannot get to the fruit and it's growing out of control. So you're gonna have to make a choice. What do you want? You want a tree that looks compact, short, maybe 10, 12 feet, wide spreading, or you want just a tall tree and slim, you know? So this is my lamb has. And as you can see, on the top side, there is some branches that are growing straight up. If I don't cut them now, those branches are gonna keep on growing taller and taller. And by next year, they will be giving on its own weight and, turning over to the sides and getting exposed to the sun, getting sunburn, and the tree will lose its form. So more or less, I'm going to leave my tree at about 11 feet from the ground. And that would imply removing the branches from here and up. So let's do it. For that, I have my tools here. I have some large pruning shears, small pruning shears. We have some pruning sealer, and we do have a long pole extension branch shear. By activating the rope, you can cut branches up to 1.5 inches, I think. Whatever I cannot cut with this tool, I'm gonna have to climb and doing with the large pruning shears. So the first step is to disinfect your tools. I'm going to spray some alcohol. This is alcohol. So I'm just gonna spray it onto the shears. And then I'm going to grab my brush. I'm also gonna do it here in this blade. I'm gonna flip it over, do the back side. Then I'm going to take my brush and brush all the old dirt or contaminants that I might have. That's something you want to do every time you use some kind of shears on your tree. And the reason why is you don't want to introduce any bacteria built up onto the blades into your tree. Once you have bacteria in it, you have a good chance of losing your tree eventually. So yeah, let's clean them up really well. Anytime you're gonna have to climb up high, make sure to use a very good ladder. The last thing you want to do is fall and injure yourself. I got this ladder, is really heavy, but it's really solid. I feel very confident on it. I am ready to start doing my cutting. So just visually looking at the tall branches, I'm going to cut them off. I don't like this one growing straight up. Gonna take it down about here. He's a tall one. Looks like some of them I'm gonna have to climb on the ladder. That one was too thick. It's like giving it a haircut. We're giving it a flat top. Some of these tall branches have fruits in it, but we're just gonna have to sacrifice them. No problem. It's a big one over there. Yeah, it's looking good up there. Seems like I'm gonna have to get on top of the ladder and take the last 3 feet off from that tree. All right, let's do it. So I'm up here on the ladder and I can see, although this branch is young, it has the tendency to grow straight up. So I don't want it to grow straight up. Instead, I'm just gonna cut it at a point where I'm gonna allow it to develop side branching. I like these splits right here. Like for example, I don't know, you can see it right there. We have a nice split. So I'm just gonna cut it right there. And you can see you got 4 different splits going in 4 different directions. So I'm just gonna keep those. Same thing with this other branching here. I'm going to get my ladder a little closer. Here's the other branch that I don't want to let it grow straight up. I'm just going to cut it at this point right here, where I am going to generate some side growth. Everything else is looking great. Okay, now we have achieved our desired shape. It's about 10 feet or so. We took all the top growth, and now some of the big branches are bare with no branches or leaves, but those are going to recover. We have until March to grow new branches, and those branches ready to flower and fruit. So this is the shape of my new lambhass tree. The next thing I'm going to have to do is get up there and cover those wounds with the Pruning sealer. A sealer is very good because we have rains coming in the next month or 2 months here. Not heavy rains, but enough to get in the trunks and initiate some rot that I don't need it. So yeah, let me get up there and seal as many wounds as I can. I'm on top of the tree on a good ladder, really secured. Since I'm up here, I'm going to remove some of these dead branches. Might as well clean it up a little bit. That's a pruning that you have to do to your trees. Remove all branches growing into the middle of the tree like this, and that's just to allow sunlight to get inside your tree, which is vital. I'm also going to remove the tip on this growth to about here, more or less, where I have a nice split so it can grow sideways. Same thing with this branch. It's growing up. I'm just gonna cut it right there to generate some side branching. And that's all. So for now, I'm just gonna cover up my large cuts and not take any chances of introducing any moisture induced bacteria into the tree. So let's do it. I have covered my large cuts with the pruning sealer. Now I'm going to proceed to remove some of these branches that are growing towards the middle of the tree. When you cut a branch, this branch is still alive. When you cut a branch, don't do it flush against the trunk, because when it dries, it's going to introduce some dryness and probably some disease into the main branch here. So do it at about maybe an inch or half an inch away. Okay, then when it dries, you're going to have a dry stub right here, and the stub is just going to dry and eventually it's going to fall off, and the main branch is going to heal itself by covering over it with some new growth. Here we have another branch growing to the middle of the tree, and I'm just going to cut it, like I said, about half inch from the tree right there. And I don't like those branches growing towards the middle, because you know they create a dense canopy and it kind of blocks the sun from the middle of the tree. The sun is vital for this thing. So that little stub is going to end up falling over. I do see some disease or something growing into here. Probably the branch was damaged. I'm going to try to remove that by cutting a little bit deeper and in an angle this way to remove that and let it heal. So let's give it a try. There, it looks a little better, still not fully, so I'm just gonna go just a little deeper. How about right there? I can't see it, but oh, down there, see? I still don't like it, but we'll just cover it with some pruning sealant and see how it heals afterwards. So yeah, up here in the canopy, my tree is looking flat, pretty nice. We said we're going to remove these at about here, and this other one at about over here. There. And as you notice, I do it at about half an inch over the last branching growing to the sides. Now those branches are going to fill over to the sides. They're going to cover the canopy really nice. And after the next spring, the tree will be nice and shaded. On the top, all these large cuts are going to grow new growth. And then new growth is going to take care of shading the tree, growing to the sides. A few shoots will grow straight up, and we'll take care of those next year. So for now, this is what we have. Let's finish up cleaning up all the dead branches. Okay, I think the job is done. After a few casualties, I mean like real casualties. Look at these things. The way I see it, you know, they eat 20%, we eat the rest. Everybody's gotta eat, right? Anyways, here's my tree. We have removed all the top. The tree is at about 10.5 feet to 11 feet tall. It has a really nice wide spreading, a little bit of a rounded shape, rounded top. And now new growth is going to grow. By next year we'll have another 3 or 4 feet to cut, and we'll keep doing it that way year to year in order to keep it short, compact, wide spreading. See, what happens is this type of canopy tends to produce better, tends to hide the fruit under the canopy. I have also removed all the dead wood inside, some of the branches growing. Here's the avocados, lamb, last year's, ready to pick, a little bit past their season. New Year's, these ones will be ready starting in June 2026. So this is what I was talking about. When you get under the tree, you want to do see some sunlight going through. That is very important. There, you see? I'm gonna get way under here below the tree, and that's what I see on the top. Lots of sunlight coming in. I removed as much dead wood as I saw, and this is the end product. I still got some nice avocados to pick. We just had quite a few in 2025. 26 looks a little bare, not too many avocados, but that's okay. This is our lamb house, topped off to 10-11 feet. It's a beautiful tree in beautiful weather here in Southern California. This is Frank with Franken Fruits. Thank you for watching, and please like and subscribe. Until next time.